Hi everyone, it's Tracy here from Art Fiber Stitch. We've been looking at gum trees, creating trees with bits of fabric, and last week we were looking at Tyvek and Lutradur, among other things. I'm just showing you some of the things that I grabbed out to use. We painted some Tyvek, and this is a really thick one. Once it's heated, it looked like bark, which is what I'm aiming for. Now look at this. I do love the trees when they split like that and they have this beautiful color and show you the new bark. So right now I'm just looking at backgrounds and I'm thinking about it. And I have this fabric already. Now that's a sheer and it looks very much like a tree to me. So I'm going to use a portion of that, and I'm just showing you now that it really depends what's underneath it as to what color it is. See, I can put a darker brown underneath. I could put something else. I've got some pellin there that's got some sticky dots on it, so it's iron on. See, if I put that underneath, it's gone golden, or here it's gone a rusty color. So whatever I put underneath is going to show through this sheer fabric, and that's part of my plan. Now as I was playing, I'm looking at this. This is an organza, all different colors in here. I love this fabric. I'm cutting out little leaf shapes, thinking I can use that. I can use that piece maybe up the top there as leaves on the trees. I'm thinking about it, and whilst I'm thinking about it, I'm having a look at it underneath my sheer fabric here that I've chosen for my tree trunk. And I think I've come up with a little idea. I'm going to use these sticky dots, and I'm going to put down this background here. And this is my start. I just have some linen on top of a cotton, and that is a shot silk on the top there, and it is blue or copper depending. So imagine I've got that, and I'm looking at these things that I've already been playing with, cutouts. I could use either side of this fabric, just obscure, like when you look up at a tree, you're not really seeing each leaf, are you? And this would help to sort of visualize it, I think. So I'm just playing with ideas whilst I'm working on this tree trunk. I think that something like that could work though. So I have nothing in that section there because that's where I'm going to put my tree. I'm going to put the darker edge down the bottom, and I'm thinking I'm going to use some of the bits that I cut out of that organza. See here, some of those little teardrop shapes are from there. And then I found a nice clay color, and I cut some more bits out because, like in the photo I showed you, I wanted these lovely peachy salmon tones in there. Now let's have a look. When I get that over, you're probably not seeing it too well, but it does add peachy tones, which is what I'm after. So I'll be doing that. I will be ironing that, and when I do, it's going to trap those pieces underneath there, and I'm also going to iron those edges under. And this pellin that I'm using, this sticky backed pellin, is also, it's got a little bit of depth, so we could use it and we could quilt as we're stitching. It would quilt and give it a bit of a three-dimensional kind of quality. Now last week we were looking at Lutradur, and also we were looking at the Tyvek. Now I'm looking here, I've got some other things. I've got a little bit of webbing. This is a webbing as well, is Lutradur. So it's all just different fibers that have been meshed together. Last week I was looking at, because it cuts very well, but what does it do when you tear it? It allows bits of colour underneath to come through. So I'm also thinking, That's some other way I can bring variation into my background. So I have some blue as well, and I'm thinking, all right, well, we could have distant mountains or sky or lots of things. So I'm just playing as I am designing here and thinking what I can use. Here's my Tyvek. I've cut it into smaller pieces now, ones that I could use on this kind of tree. I'm just going to get rid of some of these bits now so that I can concentrate on what I have to do, because they'll all be behind the tree anyway. This is exactly why I love using layers. Instead of a block of color, I am getting all kinds of colors peeping through, and I can use it to put colors behind, like that green there. That could be grass, but we could have something else underneath it showing through. It's just working out what we want to do. But I love this. I love that. I think that's a goer. So I'm pleased. I'm going to just iron it now and see how that goes. Ironing it is, in essence, all of those little dots that are on that pellet is glue, and it melts that glue and makes it so that things can stick to it. So I've got that pellet there with the sticky dots upwards, and then I've got my bits and pieces on top, and then I've got my tree fabric on top of that. And can you see? Now, can you see there? Because the light's behind it, you can see much better as to where those bits were trapped. But they have added a lovely salmon colour. And also, we can add those bits on the top. So my little bits there of Tyvek bark, and that's where we did some hand painting on some Lutradur just to have a bit of a go. And we're going to use things like that to create texture and to make this bark. I think in the next episode I'll play with doing the background a bit, because I can't help myself. I'm thinking about it all the time. But now I would just like to get onto this tree. I would love it if everybody could start looking at fabrics differently. Like even this little tiny bit here of dotty fabric is the right colour. So I thought, oh, that could probably be nice under there too. And there are sometimes spots on the bark. And what I'm doing now is I've grabbed some stranded cotton. It's a variegated one. And I'm just having a look if I can start doing some stitching. And when I sew through these layers, it's going to pull the fabric in. And where I haven't sewn, it's going to be puffed up. So I can do quite a lot of work on this if I want. And I probably will do quite a bit before I attach it down, because it's much easier to do when it's all separate like that. Using a variegated stranded thread is really good, because it'll give me a lot of choice of what I can use. And this is the Lutradur that I was talking about that I had hand painted. And it can be cut in very intricate shapes if we wish. So I was just having a look at that and thinking, oh, we could do things like that are, like a ring where, well, you do get rings in trees where branches were, perhaps. We can still see through it. It's almost shading it, isn't it? That's because it's a fine grade one. You can get really, really heavy grade, and you can get ultra fine, and this one's just nice. I think that would work. Haven't quite figured out where yet, but I think it will. So that's where I'm going to finish here. I'm going to continue on and do a little bit of stitching, Here's my stranded cotton. It's different browns and greens, which is a great place to start. And I'm just going to do some running stitch lines up. I won't be very careful about doing straight lines or anything, and I'll put in, maybe go around some of those bits that we've glued in to make them show up more. The bark itself is very patchy looking, so I want to accentuate that if I can. Just 2 strands through a needle, a knot at the other end, and away we go. Whilst I'm going, I'll add some other bits, like I said, some underneath, some on top, and layering up. That's how we're going to get this working for us, I think. Now, you won't exactly have my fabrics, although you could easily paint your own, but the principle still applies, I think. Being able to see through. I really do like working with shears. It's something I'm developing as I go, and I think the more I play with it, the more I think it's got to give. Let's just have a closer look here at some of this stitching that started. You can see all the lovely marks in that bark. It looks very tree-like. We've got a knot starting to happen there. And so we're going to leave it. I'll stop with a few pictures just to show you, and we'll pick it up next week. I really do hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can even leave a donation if you would like. And we'll see what kind of fun we can have next time.